Welcome to episode 14 of our kitchen reno.
Let's get back to work.
None of this PR, guys. Presence of celebrities.
This week we're going to be finishing up all the odds and ends of the kitchen while we wait for the countertops to arrive, so let's go grab the materials. So here's the list that we're going to try and accomplish this week. Hopefully we can get to all those tasks, but first up, we're going to install the pull-out trash. Well, I'm just now realizing after I put those screws in that this actually is not soft close. I went to just test it out and realized it's gonna slam shut every single time. Everything else is soft close, so this also has to be soft close. This is one of the highest priced garbage trash pullouts on Amazon. I kind of just assumed it was gonna be soft close. Everything's soft close nowadays, but apparently not. So I went ahead and ordered a different one that's actually cheaper and has soft close. So in the meantime, we can go ahead and check off a few other tasks, but not a great start so far. So next up, we're going to be installing the doors to the Lazy Susan. If you recall, the Lazy Susan cabinet was pretty much the hardest cabinet to assemble in the entire kitchen, so hopefully these doors are a little bit easier. All right, Lazy Susan door complete. That was honestly really hard, but not nearly as hard as the cabinet itself. Glad that's over with. Let's move on to the next task. We don't have enough storage in the kitchen just yet, so next task is installing even more storage, albeit a little bit smaller. These are two fake drawer fronts because this is where the sink is going, but we still can get some little extra storage by installing these pieces right here, and then they'll fold out to the front. It's a great spot to put like a brush or an extra sponge. These are actually gonna be coming in super handy. I showed Bianca off camera and she's already super excited about it. I just really hope that when they come to install the sink and countertop, these aren't in the way at all, because that would really suck after all that time I spent just installing them, but praying and hoping that isn't the case. One more task complete. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we have two panels here to mount to the side of the pantry just to give it a little bit more dimension rather than it being a flat panel. What do you think, Maple? That worked out really well, but now we have to do the top panel.
Do you guys miss me?
So with only one hand, I'm gonna need Bianca's help for this second panel. Just a few things to note. To get the spacing right, we're gonna be using some shims just to give this reveal between the two panels. And then also these things taped here are actually two shims that are going on the back side of the cabinet. And that's so it has the same reveal from this sheet of drywall. I actually shimmed the top corner of this one. We can fully push it in and know the reveal will be the same all the way up and down. You ready?
I'm ready. It's nice and beefy now.
You can just set it on top of it.
Belay on. Seems to be using that other hand just fine.
I can like start to move it a little bit, but to like pick up a heavy object like that, not
He's
so
like,
much.
I can't take out the trash. No, I'm kidding. He did it yesterday, guys.
And that looks pretty. That looks nice. You see how like the shim works perfectly.
There we go.
Do I need to push it? Do one more? Or is it flush?
It's flush. I was like, suck that pepper
Are you
in.
sure? I'll do one more.
Okay. Do you want support?
Yeah, my butt's injured too.
It's like nice and beefy now. You know, I like them beefy. Can I go now? Back to the corporate world. Let me take my hard hat off.
I know it's a bit hard to see, but here you can see that reveal of the drywall. It's about 1/8 of an inch. And when we set this pantry cabinet, we set it about 1 inch in from the drywall, knowing that we were gonna add these panels later on. That way these didn't stick out beyond the wall. So I can show you when walking in the room from this perspective, you can see that it doesn't stick out. It's just barely inset, about 1/8 of an inch, which honestly, little details like this is what makes such a clean install. All right, so with the panels installed, I think we're gonna call it a night tonight, but we have a lot more tasks to do tomorrow. So we'll see you then. Welcome to a new day. Let's knock out some tasks. So these are 2 drawers for our pantry, but both of them are damaged. So we actually had to order 2 new ones, which are already installed, but I think I can fix these up for a total of 4 drawers. Let's see if we can do it. So here you can see the issue, the dovetail separated here, and there's a small crack forming on the back of this, but I do think it's repairable. I'm just gonna add some wood glue in here and then hopefully hammer it back together. That actually worked better than expected. Closed up the gap nicely. I'm just gonna let that dry and then we can go ahead and install it. Now the instructions call for the front of the drawer slide to be installed with just this tiny little screw. I don't think that's enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade it to this 1.25" screw. I'm also going to drill out the holes to be a little bit bigger so I don't split the face frame.
I'm like a guest appearance now.
So before we get on to the next task, we have some goodies to unpack and show you guys.
None of it's PR, guys. We bought this all ourselves.
Yeah. Do you want me to?
You can talk about that.
So we have some LED lighting components. This is gonna be for the under cabinet lighting, and we're also planning on doing some toe kick lighting underneath all the cabinets as well. I think it's a nice touch. This is technically the power supply, and it's specifically a dimming power supply because we wanna be able to dim the lights up and down, very important.
Would it be a Golden Key design project without LED lighting?
It really adds. These are just some connectors for connecting the LED lights to the wiring. And then lastly, we have the LEDs themselves. I've done a ton of research on LEDs. If you've seen the media center, you obviously know that I go into a bit more detail over there. This is my favorite type of LED. It's COB, meaning chip on board. So it's one continuous stream of light because the diodes are so close together. I know I'm getting nitty gritty, but you know that LEDs are just like dots everywhere. It looks bad. And on top of that, we're gonna be using a diffuser with a channel anyway. If you want more details, go watch my media center video, but we're gonna link all this down in the description too. Now Bianca can do the fun stuff.
We got our faucet, which we'll see, but this is the button for the garbage disposal since it's gonna be on our island here. This isn't a different finish because I think the color we do want is out of stock, but now we can see 2 different finishes.
This is their antique brass finish. It looks nice, it's just a little muted.
It is nice, yeah, but we found antique. Sometimes antique brass looks a little like, I don't know, browner per se. Anywho, I still like the button itself.
Yes, we were worried about whether we'd be able to like put a switch on the island. Turns out this is pretty commonly available, so you can just put a button. It works out great. Honestly, It looks pretty nice too. And now the big one here.
Big boy. We did reach out to this brand because we do love their products and they never responded. So don't buy, no, I'm kidding. It's wrapped.
Wow.
But this is also the same brand as our sink.
The same brand as the push button, but this is in a different finish, the one that we actually want, at least we think.
And we're not doing black, but we're instead doing gold.
Brushed brass.
Brushed brass. I like this though because it's still yellow enough where it's clearly brushed brass, but it's not
Well, you can
too
see
yellow.
here the part that goes underneath the counter. This is the type of brass, but really gold that you get if you buy off Amazon. This here is brushed brass, what you get when you buy from a very nice website.
This is from
brand.
Amazon, but it's the Kraus
Yeah,
brand.
what I mean by Amazon is the companies you've never heard of selling stuff on there.
One thing I want to note is at the lake house, we have the faucet where you can tap anywhere and turn it on and off. That is pretty pricey, but this is kind of a nice middle ground. There's just a sensor on this side. I would say it's half, even less. Yeah, less than half the price of one that's touch everywhere.
The touch ones were like 800 plus. This one I think was around 250, 300. So we thought it was worth it. We do want the feature of being able to use it hands-free, but this is just not nearly as universally hands-free, but pretty easy. Also, see, it matches.
Oh yeah, it does. Can they?
Two different brands, but it's close enough.
It's also like far away enough and at different heights where it's very close.
But we are mixing metals. We're gonna do black hardware, so ever on the cabinet side. So we wanted to pull in some other brass elements.
We'll be decorating with, can I show them the thing?
Oh, sure.
Other ways we're incorporating brass elements. And then these are also linked. They're from Amazon. But Grant got me these, which I've wanted for years. They are salt and pepper shakers, so we'll be decorating with more brass, and these will patina more over time. But look, hello?
Similar to
cranking the seasoning as I cook.
These are kind of like a polished brass, but they're actually real unlacquered brass, and therefore they're gonna patina over time. And by patina, pretty much they're gonna get darker, so they won't nearly look as shiny as time goes on.
It's a little too shiny.
Yeah,
you know?
It'll match the rest of the brushed fixtures, I think, nicely.
It's coming together, huh? Also, like, it's so nice. We have this little drywall piece here. It's like we have a fully functioning island.
But now we're actually gonna have to put all this away, take that drywall piece off, because I have to re-level the island and lock it down. Let's get back to work. Enough unboxing.
I'll go back to my desk.
After using quite a lot of shims, the island is now perfectly level, so the next step is to lock it into position. For that, I'm gonna be using a premium construction adhesive, and the way I like to do it is to apply this directly to a 2x4 on both sides. Then I'll slide it underneath the toe kick, locking the side of the cabinet directly to the floor. However, I'm actually not gonna do this right now. I'm gonna wait until the countertops are installed, because that's a lot of added weight that might compress things or move things around just a little bit. So once that's installed, I'll then do this step. So for now, we're gonna check this off the list, move on to the next task. I was just starting to plug everything in and it wasn't working, so I spent the last hour troubleshooting everything, and it turns out it's the simplest solution. My electrician had used a tamper-resistant outlet, so when I was going to plug things in, it kept pushing my plug back out. It just wasn't making a strong connection, therefore it wasn't working. So I went ahead, ran to Ace for like the third time tonight, and got a very nice 20 amp outlet that has a super strong connection, so we just gotta switch out the outlet and then we should be good to go. All right, I think we're finally making some progress, so let's show you where we're at. Up here you can see the outlet that the power supply plugs into, and the plug is nice and secure. Then those two wires go back into the wall and come out down here to feed the LEDs. This is the dimmer switch, which powers the LEDs. We have one here on the left of the stove and one here on the right of the stove. As you can see, they're not mounted just yet, so let's discuss our few options. So these LEDs do have an adhesive backing, so you can stick them wherever you want. We can put them up here toward the back of the cabinet. I do think that causes too many shadows, so up here toward the front of the cabinet I think will be a little bit better. But we also did buy some aluminum rail, and you can slide the LEDs into that rail, and there's a nice cover that diffuses the light. However, because these are already chip-on-board LEDs, I don't think we necessarily need to use diffusion other than it looking nice. But because it's underneath the cabinet, you're never really gonna see it. So I think the route forward with the least amount of work and also the least amount of money is just to adhere them directly to the cabinet like this. If we end up deciding that we want more diffusion, we can always add those aluminum rails later. Wow, this turned out even better than I could have expected. And if you can't tell on camera, these lights are at 2700K in terms of color temperature, which is gonna match the same bulbs that we used in the pendants. We're probably gonna be using these in conjunction at night with each other, so we wanted those colors to match. And we really like the warm tones that it brings into the kitchen. It really brings out the richness in the wood cabinets. Also, they're on a dimmer, so you can dim them to whatever brightness you want. If you do this yourself, make sure you get dimmable LEDs as well as a dimmable power supply. Now it is getting pretty late, so I think we're gonna call it a night here, but the plan is to add even more LEDs on the same switch. Those are gonna run underneath the toe kick of all of the cabinets in the island, the peninsula, and either side of the stove. So it's gonna look really cool eventually when the whole kitchen lights up at night. But anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to a new day. We're gonna start by installing the new trash pullout. However, it's not gonna be too easy. As you can see, it just barely fits within the face frame, leaving just a small amount of room. But unfortunately, the drawer slides actually extend beyond that, so we're gonna have to chisel out some of the face frame. That's working. Sweet. Now I wish we were done, but we still have to install the door frame on the front to make it all concealed. Finally. Installing that garbage pullout took a lot longer than I anticipated. It's already getting pretty late out. Tomorrow the countertops are coming first thing, so we gotta clean this place up. With the kitchen all cleaned up, we're now finally ready for countertops. However, I have had a change of heart. After giving it some more thought, I'm realizing that when they go to install the countertop for the island here, they're probably gonna set it down and kind of move it around, which might also shift the position of the cabinets, which we don't want. So I'm actually going to glue it up now and secure it down to the floor. I went ahead and cut 2 2x4s to length, so I'm gonna go ahead and lather these up with some construction adhesive and then secure them to the cabinets and then the floor.
So the countertops are going to arrive in less than an hour, but before they get here, we have some important decisions to make. So tucked conveniently right over here, I have a pole that we actually use in our upstairs bathroom. And we love these so much, not only because they're honestly really nice quality at a great price, but we really like this fluted style of them. So we thought about using them here in our kitchen. This is one of the smaller sizes they actually offer from Amazon. These are from Amazon. So we did get another medium size because I think we might want something a little beefier. And I think we're gonna for sure put these on all of the drawers on the bottom cabinet. And then Grant, a man who likes a lot of his options, we also got another size up. So we have the size in our bathroom, which is the smallest, a medium, small, medium, and large, essentially. So I think we're gonna put them against all the drawers, see which one we like best. And then, of course, I was like, what if we have a knob instead of a pull? So this didn't have a matching one from the same brand, but Grant was able to find a matching knob that also had that fluted accent we really like. I like the idea of mixing 2 types of hardware, but although we love the Slim Shaker, I think we have found so far that it may be kind of hard to make a knob work here, so let's see. So Grant Lily just unboxed these right before we turned on the camera, so this is our first real reaction, but starting with the smallest size from the bathroom.
A little small.
A little small, and then this is the medium.
And take note that this is a 24-inch cabinet wide. We do have varying widths, but I think we're gonna use the same size on all of them.
And then the largest. I thought I would like this size, but I think I like the biggest one.
Go back to the medium.
Both look good.
Now large, now large.
It's just think large. You have really big hands, Grant.
Well, the thing is, if we use them on all of the cabinets, like for instance, this is an 18-inch, put the large on that.
I don't think that looks bad.
It's a little big. I'm leaning medium, but let us know what you guys think. Now let's see what they look like on the doors.
No, but before that, I think I did see, I was just looking at Instagram right before this. What if we did? No, I don't like it right now. Okay, let's see on the doors. I'll start with the smallest. Yeah. I think immediately off the bat we were like this, but then I'll show it too. It's like these are so close. You know what I mean? They're like cross-eyed. What were you saying?
Yeah, like when you go to reach for one, you might grab the other on accident.
So then it's like, do we go like this? That still looks normal, I think.
And then what about horizontally?
And then horizontally, there's 2 options as well. Kind of like, I would say, a third over or centered. I know I do not like how centered looks. It feels wrong when you open a cabinet. Do you know what I mean?
I know, it should be from like opposite the hinge.
It should be here.
It can also be up like.
That looks weird. I think that looks weird.
Yeah. So we initially thought this was kind of weird. We'd also probably have to use the smallest size on these cabinets.
Yeah.
Let's see the knobs.
I really like the knobs, but I feel
with
like
our Slim Shaker design, we love it, but it's hard to place your handles because normally they would go right in the middle of like the stile and rail of the cabinet, but because they're so thin, they're right next to each other. That looks like so bad.
Yeah, that looks pretty bad. But then I think it looks awkward here.
It's not horrible. All right, well, let us know what you guys think down in the comments. We have small, medium, large handles, and then our knobs.
Or do you want knobs on the drawers? No, I'm kidding.
I think knobs are not on the drawer, that's for sure. But the rest is kind of up in the air, so let us know what you guys think.
I think my vote is large, but I would go medium on the drawers. I do think I like the small. I wish we had 2 of them down here. I think that'll look, or no, because look how tall the cabinet is. So if you agree with me or disagree with me, let us know what you think in the comments because we really are at a loss of what to do.
So as you saw at the beginning of the video, we had a long list of things to do. We didn't get to them all, so let's discuss what's remaining. As you saw at Home Depot, I cut a bunch of trim. That's gonna be one for this patio door to go around here. We also bought some door jambs, so we're gonna take out this drywall, replace this all with a wood door jamb, and then also trim on the outside here. Then if we go over this way, we also have this window that we need to trim out right here, so we're gonna trim that out. Then over here, we need to, if you recall the heights difference here that I'm very frustrated at, it's about 1/8 of an inch. We want to put a transition strip of oak trim, just basically a little ramp down. That way maple doesn't cut up the floor here. It also will just finish it off nicely. And then we also bought pull wrap, so we're gonna wrap the island in pull wrap. Another question for you guys is we're for sure gonna do the back in pull wrap. We're debating on if we should also do the sides. We could just make it look like this color, or we could do pull wrap all the way around. Will that be too much? I don't know. Then also, we wanna do pull wrap behind the peninsula as well. So we're gonna do pull wrap starting, I think for this, we're gonna not do pull wrap on this side, but for sure pull wrap all the way across, and then I need to add some support here to build it up so the pull wrap has something to go against. We also, as you saw, bought a bunch of stain. So we have like 10 different stains. We're gonna do our best to match the color of the cabinets because we want the pull wrap to be a texture, but also not stick out like a sore thumb either. So tons of stuff upcoming, but actually next week is gonna be all about countertops. So get excited. We're not gonna actually show you those. Maybe we'll give you a little sneak peek at the end of this episode, just a little, and then next episode will be all countertops, and then after that we're gonna do all these odds and ends.
One last thing Grant forgot to mention is this big old empty space here is for our hood, which we're planning on building out. Now we've tossed around a few ideas and looked around on Pinterest, and I think we really like the Roman clay option. It adds a lot of texture and warmth, but we've seen a lot of options here, like we've seen shiplap, which isn't really our vibe, I would say, but if you guys have any recommendations on what we can do here to kind of add to this space and be another jewel of the kitchen, let us know. And now for our favorite comments. Mine this week is from the Barraza family. They said, super freaking off topic, but Bianca's hair looks so freaking healthy. Drop that hair routine, girl. One, thank you. We always have people commenting on my hair on Instagram too, and it makes me feel so good because I actually do have alopecia, so I have a few bald spots here that I am lucky I am able to hide with the rest of my hair. But I do love the Dyson Airwrap and then the Redken acidic bonding treatment, so check them out.
Link below. And now for my favorite comment, apologize if I butcher this name, from Kiwi Roush. Okay, house mods are cool and all, but let's talk F1. Who's Grant fave drivers and team? Well, if you didn't notice, I often wear this hat here. It's my favorite hat, F1 hat. I've been watching since about 2019, and I'm super excited for the upcoming season. My favorite team's McLaren, so I'm a big Lando and Oscar fan. However, I also love Leclerc, and I'm excited to see how Lewis does at Ferrari this year. Also Carlos at Williams. It's gonna be an exciting season, hopefully a lot tighter than last year. So that's gonna be a wrap on this week. As you guys saw, we have a lot of decisions to make, so let us know down in the comments what you guys think, and get excited for countertops next week. They should be here in like 30 minutes, so we're super excited.
Crunch time here. And as always,
thanks for watching.
And happy building.
See you next week.
Our appliance people came to like measure things. They're like, it's 9-foot ceilings. I'm like, no, it's 8, but we wish. Because that's how tall it feels in here, guys.
He was looking from this perspective, and he saw our YouTube plaque over there, and he's like, are you a YouTuber? And I'm like, yeah.
You're in the presence of celebrities.